¿Cómo estás?
Good, how are you?
Lo podemos hacer en español si quieres.
Si quieres, Fran.
No.
Para la otra.
Sí.
Para la otra. So if it's okay, we'll start with Fran. I mean, this is your writing and directorial debut, and you do it in such an emotional dialogue script. That's pretty brave.
Thank you. It wasn't. I honestly didn't think of it that way. I came across these meetings, and I thought this is a story that is so compelling and felt so important for our world today that it felt like something I had to do. I wanted to believe these things were possible, that forgiveness was possible, reconciliation, that it's possible to repair broken relationships, because I have so much worry and anxiety about the divided country that we live in. Forgetting just the plot of the film and the events that are depicted in it, I worry about that division and the need to heal. So I was all in on this as a big movie, and not just a movie in a room that was dialogue heavy. It felt to me as emotional as anything you could possibly tell.
And this is different because you took the grief aspect. Usually in films, we see what caused the grief. We don't really see much of the repair part. Mm-hmm. And Jason, here we get to see you on this emotional dialogue. I understand it was like 5 days of 12 pages.
It was
days in a row?
8 days.
8 days?
Shooting that big scene, the one scene. Yeah.
We had 5 12-page days, and then 3 about 4-page days.
To be honest, the whole film felt like one experience. We were in there. It was incredibly intense and emotional. All the things actors love doing, to be honest, and in service of a story which is both gripping and also just really proud to be part of putting out in the world. But it didn't start morning till night, whether it was 10 pages or 12 pages or 20. When they called wrap, we went to the rooms and started talking about what we were going to do the next day. And it was a kind of 2-week experience for all of us, like going to rehab or something. And it was just, it didn't feel like making a film. It felt like going to some place, having some gigantic personal, emotional experience. And I had no idea if it would make a movie. I don't know if anyone would watch it, if it would be watchable. So it's so heartening to see what audiences are doing, how the critics and the audiences are responding to it, and how much they're taking away some huge experience from it as well.
How did you feel at the end of the day, those long days?
There was no end of the day. We'd stop shooting, but then we would go into one of our hotel rooms and start planning what the hell was going to happen the next day. I don't remember sleeping. I don't remember the camera. I just remember having this very intense experience for 2 weeks.
Which part of the dialogue was the one that, for you, Fran, was a little more maybe difficult to portray as the writer when it came to the great acting, of course?
It was all emotional. I tried to essentially improvise as an actor, these 4 characters. I naively thought I might be able to write this thing in one sitting, because I really believed that conversations would be, not linear, that they'd sort of meander or go off tangents or contradict themselves, be redundant. So I thought, I'm just going to throw myself into this. That obviously did not work. It was all very challenging in terms of making it a big cohesive unit because of my own sort of multiple personality disorder, but they were all emotional. I mean, simple scenes like when Linda presents something that her child had made as a young boy, crushed me in writing, even though you don't necessarily get tears on screen, because every one of these characters, there were no good or bad guys. They all had real human dignity.
Which scene did you rewrite the most?
Oof. That's a great question. We rewrote, editing was the post, what do you regret? Rewriting was a lot of the school, the retelling of the event, and the retelling of their day. Because it felt like people just stopped to tell stories as opposed to people having a conversation.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This was emotional. It did take me down to an emotional state of,
Did you feel hopeful at the end? Because that's what we hope for. Did you feel like there's a possibility of change?
I think that there is always a possibility of change when you finally accept closure.
Right. Great.
Yeah,
and it was there. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot.
Thank